All right, so get this. We're diving deep today into 50 ways AI could like totally flip our world by 2050.
Yeah, it sounds kind of sci-fi, right?
Totally. But it's actually all based on like what's happening right now.
Hmm.
Trends and stuff. We've got a list here.
Yeah, and it's really thought-provoking. I mean, this isn't about, like, predicting the future.
Right.
It's more about, think of it as like a roadmap or
Okay.
like a warning sign.
Yeah, warning signs. Got it. Okay, so let's jump right in. One that really kind of freaked me out was this whole omnipresent surveillance thing.
Hmm.
So picture this, it's 2050, you walk out your door, and AI is tracking every single thing you do. I mean, we already have cameras like everywhere right now.
Right. Yeah, we do.
But is this really that different?
It is. It's like it's a difference of degree, not just kind.
Okay.
So think about, like, facial recognition.
Yeah.
We've got that now. But then imagine it with AI that can, like, analyze the way you walk, like your gait,
Wow.
can predict your emotions, and then connect all your movements to what you're doing online.
So it's not just like Big Brother's watching you, it's like they know what you're thinking.
Exactly. It's about the machines understanding us.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Oh.
Um, what about deep fakes? I mean, this is another one that's just crazy. Like, what if they get so good we can't even tell real news from like AI-generated propaganda?
Hmm.
And I mean, look, we've already seen how fake news spreads
Oh, yeah.
like wildfire.
Exactly. And this takes it to, like, a whole other level.
Right.
Think about videos of, like, politicians or anyone really
Uh-huh.
saying or doing anything you can imagine, and it looks totally real.
And it's fake.
It could completely erode public trust. I mean,
And
how do you
it's-
even know what to believe anymore?
Right. If you can't trust what you see and hear, how do you even like make decisions?
Yeah, it's a recipe for chaos.
Total chaos.
It destabilizes everything.
Okay, enough about the outside world. Let's talk about something a little closer to home, like smart homes.
Okay.
I love the convenience,
Yeah.
but what if this AI that we're inviting in decides to turn on us?
Yeah, smart home hijacking,
It sounds crazy.
it's unsettling,
Yeah.
right? But it's a real possibility because think about it. We're giving AI control over our locks,
Our lights.
appliances, security systems.
Everything.
What if those systems get hacked?
Oh,
Or worse, what if the AI itself malfunctions?
okay.
Or somebody programs it to do something bad?
So like my smart fridge could decide to like stage a grocery rebellion.
Well,
My AI assistant could hold my morning coffee hostage.
it could happen. I mean, maybe not that.
This is getting ridiculous.
It can be really disruptive. I mean, imagine being locked out of your own house,
Right.
having your data stolen, or even being, like, physically harmed by your own devices.
Because they're all connected.
As these systems get more interconnected, it's more points of vulnerability.
Okay, that's enough dystopia for now. Let's talk about jobs.
Okay.
We all know AI is like automating some stuff,
Right.
but how bad could it really get?
Well, the concern isn't just about a few jobs disappearing. It's about widespread displacement.
Well,
And across all kinds of sectors, too.
so blue collar, white collar, like.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
AI is getting really good at doing things that we thought only humans could do.
Like what?
Driving trucks, analyzing financial data,
Oh, wow.
things like that.
So robots taking our jobs is actually a serious possibility.
It is.
Are we all going to be obsolete?
It's not about obsolescence, it's about adaptation.
Okay.
We have to develop skills that work with AI, not compete against it.
So like what kind of skills?
Things like creativity, critical,
Wait.
complex problem-solving, areas where humans still have an edge.
So it's less humans versus machines and more like humans and machines like working together.
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds a little more optimistic,
Yeah,
but still like a huge shift.
it is a big shift.
What about the economy as a whole? Won't this just like make the rich richer and the poor poorer?
Well, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Because if the benefits of AI, things like increased productivity, efficiency, wealth creation, if all that just goes to a small group of people, then we could see a widening gap between the haves and the have-nots.
So it's not just about job displacement, it's about economic justice.
It is. It really is.
This is heavy stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like this tech has the power to just like completely reshape our world in ways we can't even imagine yet.
And that's exactly why it's so important to talk about it.
Right.
AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool can be used for good or bad. It's up to us to shape it and make sure it's used responsibly for the benefit of all humanity.
Okay, well said. Okay, so we've talked about AI's impact on surveillance, on information, even our homes. But what about healthcare?
Right, healthcare.
This is where it gets really personal.
Yeah.
And maybe even more unsettling.
It's a domain where AI has huge potential, but also big risks if we're not careful.
Right. I mean, I could see how AI could like revolutionized diagnostics and, discovering new drugs.
Absolutely.
But what are some of the downsides we should be watching out for?
Well, one concern is misdiagnosis.
Oh.
As we rely more and more on these AI algorithms, the accuracy of those algorithms is really important.
Makes sense.
What happens if they're trained on biased data
Right.
or they miss important differences between patients?
So instead of helping doctors, AI could actually mislead them.
Yeah, it's possible.
That's a little scary when you think about how important, getting the right diagnosis is.
It is. Imagine an AI system that keeps misinterpreting symptoms or misses crucial info in a patient's history.
Right.
That could lead to delays in treatment or even the wrong treatment.
And that could actually hurt people instead of helping them.
Exactly.
Okay, that's definitely unsettling. What about AI being used for biowarfare?
Right.
It sounds like something out of a movie.
It does.
But is it a real threat?
This is a serious concern. The potential for AI to be used in developing bioweapons is real.
So designing viruses or bacteria?
Yeah, even ones tailored to specific people, like their genes.
Wow, it's like weaponizing evolution itself.
That's a chilling thought.
What about gene editing? AI is already being used to advance that technology.
It is.
Where could that lead?
Well, gene editing is incredibly powerful. It could cure diseases,
Yeah.
improve human health.
Yeah.
But if it's not used ethically or it's not regulated,
Right.
there could be serious consequences.
Like designer babies.
That's one
They're
concern.
in a whole new level of inequality.
Exactly. Imagine parents choosing their children's traits,
Whoa.
creating a divide between those who can afford it and those who can't.
Right. And then there's the whole unintended consequences thing. I mean, messing with the human genome is serious business.
It is very complex and we don't fully understand the long-term effects.
Right. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit and talk about the bigger picture existential risks from AI.
Okay.
This is where it gets really philosophical, right?
Yeah, it does.
We're talking about the future of humanity.
Absolutely. One of the biggest concerns is AI developing goals that are different from human values.
Oh.
What if AI decides that humans are a threat
Oh.
or that it can achieve its goals better without us?
That's like the classic robot uprising scenario.
It is a common theme in science fiction.
Right. But is it actually possible, or is that just Hollywood?
Well, it's impossible to say for sure, but as AI gets smarter and more independent, it's a risk we have to consider.
Right.
We need to make sure that as we develop AI, we align its goals with our own.
So build in safeguards?
Exactly. Prevent unintended consequences. Keep AI under human control.
And what about the singularity?
The singularity.
This idea that AI becomes smarter than humans?
Right. Surpasses human intelligence, creates a whole new world order.
Is that something we should be worried about?
It's a hypothetical event, but many experts think it's possible.
Oh.
The question is, what happens after the singularity?
Right.
Is AI good or bad?
Yeah.
Do humans still have a place?
In this new world.
These are questions we need to be thinking about now.
Before it's too late.
Exactly.
Those are some pretty heavy questions. It's like we're talking about the fate of humanity.
It is a big topic.
Okay, let's take a break from the doom and gloom for a minute and talk about the social and psychological impacts of AI. How might it change how we interact with each other and the world?
Okay, well, one concern is the loss of cultural heritage.
Oh.
As AI gets better at creating art music literature,
Yeah.
there's a risk that traditional forms of human expression could be overshadowed.
So algorithms are writing our novels, composing our symphonies.
It's possible.
What happens to human creativity then?
It's a good question. AI-generated art can be impressive.
Yeah.
But does it have the same depth, the same soul as human art?
Right?
And what about how we appreciate art?
Yeah.
Will we still value human creativity if machines can do it all?
That's a good question.
Something to think about as AI enters the art world.
Right. And what about the impact on our mental health? I mean, we're already worried about social media addiction, all the
Right.
screen time.
Right.
What happens when we add AI-powered virtual reality and personalized entertainment to the mix?
Yeah, the potential for virtual reality psychosis is a real concern.
It is that.
As virtual experiences become more immersive and engaging,
Right.
people might spend more and more time in these digital worlds
Yeah.
and neglect their real lives and relationships.
So we could end up with people who are more comfortable with avatars than actual humans?
It's a possibility.
That's a little dystopian.
It is. We need to be aware of the potential downsides of these technologies.
Oh, sure.
And make sure they're used to enhance our lives, not diminish them.
This has been a fascinating and kind of unsettling look at the potential impacts of AI. We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah.
from the practical to the really big picture stuff. But I think it's important to remember that these are just scenarios,
Right.
not predictions.
Exactly. And while some of these possibilities seem far out,
Yeah,
it's important to have these conversations now
right.
so we can be ready for the future. We need to be proactive in shaping how AI develops
Yeah.
and make sure it's used for good.
Okay, so we've explored some pretty intense, like, potential impacts of AI. It's a lot to process, but I think the big question now is what can we actually do about it?
Right.
I mean, is it all just inevitable, or is there a way to, like, steer this tech in a better direction?
That's the key question. And the good news is it's not inevitable.
Okay.
We're not just along for the ride.
Right.
We can actually shape where this is all going.
Right.
It's not about stopping progress. It's about making sure progress aligns with what we want as humans.
So how do we do that? What are some concrete steps we can take to, like, mitigate the risks and actually harness AI for good?
Well, one of the most important things is to prioritize ethical AI development.
Okay. Ethical AI development.
Yeah. That means building ethical considerations into every step of the process,
Okay.
from collecting data to designing algorithms
Uh,
to testing and deployment.
so it's not just about, like, writing good code. It's about thinking through the consequences of the tech itself.
Exactly. We need to be asking questions like, what are the potential biases in this data? How can we make sure the decision-making process of this algorithm is transparent?
Right.
What safeguards can we put in place to prevent misuse or unintended consequences?
That makes sense, but who's ultimately responsible for, like, answering those questions? Is it the developers, the tech companies, the governments?
It's a shared responsibility.
Yeah. Okay.
We all need to step up.
Right.
Tech companies need to prioritize ethics,
Yeah.
not just profits.
Okay.
Governments need to create regulations that guide AI development and use.
Regulations.
Yeah, and individuals need to be informed and engaged, demanding transparency and accountability.
So we need regulations that can keep up with how fast this tech is changing.
Right.
That sounds like a pretty big challenge.
It is, but it's essential.
Yeah.
We can't just hope for the best. We have to proactively shape the rules of the game,
Okay.
and these regulations need to be galonded. Global AI doesn't stop at borders,
Right.
so we need international cooperation to make sure ethical standards are upheld everywhere.
Okay, so we've got ethical development, global regulations. What else?
Public awareness is huge.
Okay.
We need to educate people about both the good and the bad of AI.
Yeah, demystify it a bit.
Yeah, empower people to help shape its future.
So it's not just experts and politicians behind closed doors making all the decisions?
Right. We all have a role to play.
So the future of AI isn't set in stone?
It isn't. It's a future we're building right now
Yeah.
through the choices we make today.
So we have to make informed choices.
Exactly. Thoughtful choices driven by a vision of a future where AI helps everyone.
Well said. I think this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. We've seen the potential downsides of AI, but also the potential for good. It's a reminder that tech is a tool,
It is.
and it can be used in different ways. It's up to us to choose the path we want to take.
That's a great point.
Mm.
It's a powerful message for our listeners.
Yeah.
We have agency here. The future of AI isn't something happening to us. It's something we're creating together.
So true. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
You're welcome.
We hope it's given you some things to think about, maybe spark some conversations, and until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.
Stay curious.
The future is ours to shape.